Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. We're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. It's now time for North Georgia Senior Living with Jessie Barton, Community Relations Director, Cameron Hall, North Georgia's own personal concierge. Jessie
That's
Barton.
a mouthful on a Friday morning.
I get it. Hey, you know what? Good morning.
Merry
Christmas.
Merry
I'm going to say Happy New Year because we won't be here next week. It'll be a new year before we see 2020 will be our next upcoming. But, you know, we talk every week, and we've talked about this since the day we started this segment, North Georgia Senior Living, is you are the Community Relations Director, and we like to get that in that package for people to understand at Cameron Hall. Sure. But you don't just help seniors with moving in. You're not just there to help transition, but that's what you do, transition, moving in. But you also talk to people about anything where long-term, the next steps, and sitting down with people, and it's not just moving into Cameron Hall. And you have an experience this past week that you would like to share with us?
Definitely. So I get a call last Friday afternoon. A gentleman was in the hospital unexpectedly. He is the primary caregiver for his wife who was at home, so they had to get family to come in and stay with her. So he knew he was going to be discharged from the hospital on Monday. He didn't know what his next steps needed to be, whether that's, do I hire somebody to come in? So took some supper over to he and his wife so they didn't have to worry about trying to come up with a meal after being discharged from the hospital. Sat down at their kitchen table. They invited me into their home, which I was honored to do that. He just wanted to talk, like, what are my options? Is it just that I have to go to a nursing home, or is it, what about this? And he even had some questions about long-term care insurance. If you don't do this on a daily basis, and this is something new to you, you're not going to know what to ask. You're not going to know the questions, because you can interview these people that may be coming in to take care of your home, or if you're calling to find out about long-term care insurance, you can interview these companies to find the best fit. So just helping guide them on some questions, and it made me realize that before this, I didn't know anything about it either. So we don't want to leave these things to chance, and so now I'm kind of getting some experience helping my mom with my grandparents. So it's a big unknown world, and it was just good it helped open my eyes that there's more help that's needed for our seniors, rather than just saying, hey, move into an assisted living.
With your position there at Cameron Hall, you do work from start to finish with the transition into moving into Cameron Hall.
Right.
Obviously, that's what you do day in and day out. What you try to do on the show is let people know that regardless of what they need or what they have to talk about when it comes to senior living in North Georgia, you're there for them, and you're there in the pre-planning. Right. Because we've talked about it weeks on end, and I think so many of us go through life this way that a lot of times when you get the call, decisions have to start rapid fire being made.
Sure.
And what you experience this week is somebody that actually is getting out in front and having the conversation early on.
Right.
What do I need to do? What if this happens next? Does my insurance cover this and that?
Right.
And those are the conversations that you would love to have if anybody would call you.
Sure. Because, yes, I would love to see you as a resident of Cameron Hall. We love what we do. However, it may not be the fit, and it may not be the time. So for these two individuals, he's like, this was a huge wake-up call, because I didn't expect for something to happen suddenly. And he said, my ultimate goal right now, he said, I would love to stay in my home, have somebody come in to provide that care and assist with meals and that kind of thing. So while I could try to change his mind, that's not his ultimate goal right now. So I was able to give him some direction on, hey, when you call these home care companies, ask about what happens when somebody calls out and they can't come help you. Or if you have somebody move in with you, what about their days off? What are you going to do to cover the days off that the caregiver can't be there? Or what if the caregiver gets sick and can't help you for
I don't want to, at no time, I don't want to say anything negative, because I don't know the companies out there so I don't want to name anybody, but I'm listening to this, and he is the caregiver for his wife. He ends up in the hospital. Now what do we do? Fortunately, he was able to be discharged and obviously go back to being able to be the caregiver, but this could happen again. What do we do? See, we just experienced that, and I'm just going to say from personal experience, I mean, my dad has been ill for several years, but my mom has been healthy enough to be the caregiver. And this past year, she was diagnosed with cancer, and just like that, at the same exact time, I mean, same week, my dad goes back in the hospital, gets sent home, and there's no caregiver. And I mean, over a weekend, my sister is looking for help. And when you do it that way, you also have to vet the company, try to get some references, make sure they're bonded, all these things.
Sure.
And that's not something you want to try to do in 24 hours.
That's
Plus
a lot
trying
of
to
work.
get, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
You are almost forced to make a decision at that point that you might not have necessarily made had you had the time to put into it beforehand.
And I want to say this because we got to go. We got to get I'm sorry. We got to get the star in here. I apologize. It's not you. It's not me.
I think he should go home with one of us.
Oh, no, don't start that. It is Christmas.
Merry
Don't start
Christmas.
that.
Sorry, Lisa.
but let me say this, okay? The conversation you had the other night, this time of year, families get together. And without making it sound, I don't know how it sounds, and using the word perfect, but usually this time of year is when it's the perfect time for siblings to talk to each other about mom and dad.
Sure.
And maybe have a little conversation. Because it's usually you're not together that often.
Right. And so this is I hate to use the holidays as a time of year for this, but as you visit your families this weekend, next week, little things can clue you in on if you need to start having this conversation.
Right.
Check the pantry, check the fridge. How does the food supply look? Is there a lot of expired food? Check your loved one's weight. Do they look smaller than the last time that you saw them? Are they eating properly? Check things like just the cleanliness of the house. I know that sounds silly, but a lot of times when we don't feel well or we're starting to slow down, the cleanliness of our house also kind of starts to go. Are they piling up things? Papers, those kind of things.
Well, like I said, we don't want to use the holiday season to say certain things, but it is probably time where you visit and, you guys can have some conversation at that time. Hey, folks, if you want to have that conversation or want to know how to go about having that conversation or questions, get in touch with Jessie Barton here, North Georgia's Senior Living Concierge. And she's from Cameron Hall. She's wait a minute. See, I didn't do it, and so I have it. North Georgia Senior Living, Jessie Barton, Community Relations Director at Cameron Hall. I can't do it 3 times. How do they get in touch with you?
706-515-4100 or on the web at CameronHallofLJ.com.
Folks, you can find these segments if you want to share them with your family and friends. You can find these segments right here on the playlist. Fetch Your News, FYN TV, YouTube channel, playlist, North Georgia Senior Living. FYNTV.com, Fetch Your News. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thank you every week. You come here every week and you give great information to our viewers, and you're so helpful. And that's just something we're just so happy to be able to do is be any help we can to our viewers.
Absolutely.
And get information.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You ready?
I think so.
We'll go with I think so.
Yeah.
I think so is okay.
I think I've got a couple of little things to get, but
yeah, sure. A couple little things to get. That would be me. Hey, folks, this might be a little thing to get. Might be. Hey, time for the Pet of the Week from the Humane Society of Blue Ridge right after this. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.